All right, so I've just finished reading The Hobbit today. It was about 5 hours, 50 minutes. I wasn't extremely precise in tracking the time, but that's my estimate. And it was a good experience. I had seen the Lord of the Rings movies before, but I had not seen the Hobbit film, so this was a new one for me. And this was the first time I've really just read a fiction book purely for enjoyment in many years. I read a lot of nonfiction, but I basically don't read any fiction books. So it was good to kind of just have that experience and see what it's like to read a book purely for enjoyment. And it was a great story, and it was great just like. I think almost at first, like I had a little bit of trouble getting immersed in it for like the first like hour or so, but then I just like really got into it and got my imagination engaged, and that was a fun exercise. I don't want to spoil too much of the book, and I won't talk about it too much here. But if you're really worried about it, pause the video and check the timestamps in the description, or just kind of like on that video bar feed. Um, but yeah, I think if I was to do what nobody's ever done, probably, and draw a connection between these two books, what I would have to say is like there's a lot of themes in here without going into too much of the specifics about like greed and, people getting in conflict over wanting wealth. And, that just kind of makes me think about like how the ego creates so many problems for us, and getting attached to things and just wanting more and more and more, and how much that just gets way in the way of happiness and being in harmony. And this book doesn't go too much into the rings, or like into the ring as the Lord of the Rings series does. But like I was still thinking about that throughout reading this book of like, what does the ring, and like if you aren't familiar with Lord of the ring is just something that's extremely coveted and just like takes over people, and all they want to do is hold on to that ring. Uh, like what does that actually represent in this world? And I think it kind of represents like power, and like I just said, like that attachment, that like how we ruin ourselves through this striving, through this holding on to things, this inability to just let go and live in an attitude of non-attachment, and just ease and flow, right? And that kind of like new earth frequency, instead of really just holding on to that. It's interesting, and it's like a good parallel to think about. I don't know if that's what Tolkien had in mind as he wrote this, but that was kind of my thoughts. You might be able to tell I'm a little mentally exhausted, so I think I'm just going to end this clip here, and I'm sure I'll have a lot to say about these other books as well. But actually, got one more thing before I go on to the next book, which is to choose what the next book's going to be. And actually, I already decided I'm going to save Amusing Ourselves to Death for Saturday. Today's Thursday. This next read is going to be Friday, so we're going to take that one out of the equation because that's my most busy day, and that's the shortest book. So we're just going to save that one here, and let the number generator choose again between these four books, which one I'm going to read tomorrow. So here we go. I'm generating a random number between 1 and 4 right now. Obviously 1, 2, 3, 4. And we got 3. Okay, I think this was like the book I was the most excited to read. So I'm happy I got this one, From Intellect to Intuition. I was like kind of just flipping through the pages earlier, and you guys know that I'm really into meditation. And I believe this book talks a lot about that. And yeah, just the intuition in general. So stay tuned.